good evening, afternoon, some time of the day. Duelists. Today, we're playing a ritual deck. Very resilient, very consistent, very powerful. No, not this fucker. But first, this video is sponsored by no one. So if you like the video, you want to see more like it, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that ghost bell and Haunted Mansion down below to get notified whenever a new video is up. Now, let's get after it with Shinobirds. You probably don't know what these cards are, and trust me, I did not either until I plumbed the depths of the various Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes, but this is a sick ritual deck, and it's way more based than something like Drytron, which is, the Chad Shinobird versus the Virgin Drytron. So let's get into the deck. You might notice, hand traps, don't need them, don't want them. This is not a meta deck. This is more of a jank deck, but it's fucking sick. Let's talk about our Shinobirds. We have the Shino Baroness Peacock and then the Shino Baron Peacock. Both of these are 8-star ritual monsters that you can summon with the Shinobirds Calling, which conveniently can tribute monsters from your hand or field and or banish spirit monsters from our graveyard as well. When they're ritual summoned, you can shuffle up to 3 spell or trap cards your opponents control into the deck if you are using the Shino Baroness, and if you are using the Shino Baron, you can return up to 3 monsters your opponents control to the hand. So boom, off the field, bounce that shit out of here. In addition, you get to special summon a level 4 or lower spirit monster either from the hand with the Baron or from the deck with the Baroness. A lot of times we're going to be getting this bad boy, a Mono Iwado, cannot be special summoned except for we don't care because our Shino Baron effects ignore the summoning conditions. Monsters cannot activate their effects except for spirit monsters, a Mono Iwado. So this is going to completely negate your opponent's entire field. This is a great way to put the lockdown after we have bounced everything back to their hand, shuffled it back into the deck. That's basically our whole Shino Bird package. It's really only a few cards in that particular archetype. We have a few other spirits just to go along with it. Specifically, Aratama can, when it's either normal summoned or flip face up, add a spirit monster from your deck to your hand, normally adding one of our Shino Barons so that we can ritual summon it. We've got, of course, the Manju to add a ritual monster or a ritual spell. And then to make the whole deck tick, we've got our Impcantation package. Now, these are a series of monsters that by revealing either a ritual spell or ritual monster in your hand, you can special summon them and another incantation with a different name from the deck. They will either search a ritual spell or monster or add a ritual spell or monster back from the grave. You kind of have to manage which ones you're special summoning and where your resources are, but they're a great engine for making sure that you always have ritual spells and ritual monsters. In addition, we're paying 3 of the Impcantation Chalice Slime. You can reveal it. Discard a card does not have to be the Impcantation Chalice Slime, so if we have redundant copies of other things, we can discard those, and then special summon a Impcantation monster straight from the deck. So this allows us to pull whichever one we need, either to search from the deck or return from the graveyard. We're never actually summoning Impcantation Chalice Slime, though we do have a single Impcantation Inception, which can ritual summon an incantation monster, just because we have cards like Preparation of Rites and Pre-Preparation of Rites. Pre-Preparation of Rites adds a ritual spell from deck to hand and adds a ritual monster from deck or graveyard whose name is listed on that ritual spell. That's going to get us our Shinobirds Calling as well as one of our Shino Barons. Preparation of Rites will add us our Incantation Chalice Slime. Unfortunately, our Shino Barons are level 8, so they cannot be gotten with Preparation of Rites, but this can add back potentially a Shinobirds Calling from graveyard to our hand. Lastly, we have Call the Authorities. We've got all the pot. We have Pot of Avarice because we are going to continually be ritual summoning a bunch of our monsters. We routinely can ritual summon 2 or 3 monsters in a turn, being able to shuffle back all of our incantations back into the deck so that we can once again special summon them from the deck using their own effect, because we only get to add off their searches if we special summon them from the deck. 3 Pot of Extravagance, and then 2 Pot of Prosperity. We don't actually care about the extra deck at all. We are strictly a ritual-based deck, and specifically the Incantations, when they are on the field, they actually say you cannot special from the extra deck. So even though we do have Link monsters in here, a lot of times we're not going to actually be able to go into them. Now, if we do happen to get into a tight spot, and we have a few monsters on the field, we can always go into a Link monster or even an Xyz monster. Specifically, we've got a bunch of forests, so we can go into things like Black Ship of Corn, Crooked Cook. We can even attempt to go into the Chalkanine Borbo into the Zeus line if we're really in a pinch. But generally, being able to summon our Shino Barons is going to be enough, either shuffling back 3 spell traps or returning 3 monsters to the hand. Extremely powerful effects. One might even say broken, which is why these have such little support and they're ritual monsters and yada, yada, yada. So that's pretty much the deck. Let's get into the games. Duelists, let's go. We're on the draw. What are we working with? We have our preparation of rites, our preparation of rites. We have an incantation chalice slime, which can get us any incantation that we might need. We have a Shinobirds calling, and we have a pot of pee. This deck generally functions extremely well when we can ritual summon one of our Shinobarons, pop our opponent's whole field basically, and potentially OTK. So since we're on the play, we want to just be doing some setup, getting some things in our graveyard, getting some things in our hand, making sure that we have everything we need so that once our opponent sets up, we can completely dismantle them. We're going to lead off with our pot of pee. Banish a bunch of cards from the extra deck. Does not really matter what we banish. Let's see what we can find off the top. There's a Shinobaron. There is an Aratama. There's another Incantation. 2 Incantations. And, of course, a Manju. Let's grab that Incantation Talismandra. That's usually the one that we want to go to. It's going to get us a ritual monster from our deck. We can also pre-preparation of rights to add the second Shinobirds Calling and our Peacock. We can pitch our redundant Shinobirds Calling to special summon a Candle, adding our Incantation Inception. Then prep for rights to grab a second Chalice Slime, adding back the Shinobirds Calling. We just want to make sure we have as many things in hand as possible. We can ritual summon using our Shinobirds Calling, getting rid of our second Incantation Chalice Slime, and going into the Shinobaron. Now, the Shinobaron and the Shinobaroness both have an effect because they're spirit monsters and they return to your hand at the end of turn. That's kind of what the spirit monsters do. When they return to your hand, they special summon 2 level 4 Shinobird tokens just so that you can potentially resummon them next turn. I'm happy with generally how we've ended our board, right? We have some cards in the graveyard. We have a good amount of cards in our hand in terms of ritual spells, monsters to tribute, ritual monsters, and of course the Incantation Chalice Line, which can kind of get us whatever we want. But having these extra tokens on the field is nice, just in case our opponent can attempt to OTK, and we can use them to ritual summon off later. 2 tokens. Pass it to you, opponent. What have you got? Pot of Pee. I like it. They're copying us, though. What do we see off the top? Eldlich. What the heck? Can they ban this damn deck already? Jeez. I don't actually have any problem with the Eldlich cards themselves. It's the Floodgates. Let's hope that they didn't draw too many of them. Oh, set 5, right. The Eldlich class and the Lord of Heavenly Prison. We cannot destroy any of their set cards. However, if you remember, our Shinobaroness shuffles spell traps back into the deck. We're not destroying them. We're just getting rid of them. I don't want you to ever see those things again. Draw. Pot of Avarice. Nice. That'll be nice for later once we've sufficiently ritual summoned a good amount of monsters. There is the summon limit. Now, we do want to be special summoning from the deck with our incantations. This is something we're going to have to deal with. Let's see what we can do. Chalice Slime, going to pitch that Incantation Inception, special summon from the deck, the Talismandra. They're going to Gozen match. That's their second Floodgate. Let's see if they can go for the lucky 3 as a magic number. I opt to choose Wind. Even though we are sending the Talismandra and we can no longer control it, we will still get the effect, and I want to be able to summon my Shinobaron Peacock or my Shinobaroness when I search her. There we go. There is the Shinobaroness right there, adding off the Talismandra. Then we can Shinobirds Calling. They're going to Solemn Judgment. Okay, well, that's 4,000 down. We can easily deal 4,000 in a turn. Let's see if we can continue our plays past this old man. All right, well, I'm going to switch to attack, and we're going to get in for 3,000, opponent. No, we're not getting in for 3,000. They're chaining the Eldlich, they're chaining the Conquistador. Luckily, the Conquistador cannot pop anything, but they do have the big boy himself. That's a large butt. We cannot get past that. We're just going to pass the turn, unfortunately. Incantation Chalice Slime does have that extra clause where you do take 2,500 if you don't ritual summon after you activate that. And even though we attempted to ritual summon, it was negated. What the frickin' frack? All right, so Eldlich doing Eldlich things. Lord of Heavenly Prison, their set cards cannot be destroyed, but they pass the turn. It looks like they are at a bit of a standstill, but really they're a defensive deck. They're doing their thing. We drew another Shinobaron. Okay, I'm going to set those right to defense and just pass the turn. We're going to wait for a little bit, see what we can do. They're going to trigger Haquero, banishing one of our callings. That's unfortunate. We do need that to summon all of our Shinobirds, and they're going to send one of our Shinobird tokens with the effect of the Eldlich, attack over, and then hit us for 2,500. We are getting fairly low on life. This is starting to get a little bit tight, but I'm sure that we can get through this. All right, now there is a Pensaplume. We no longer have the tokens on the field, so we can now special summon. We are going to be forced to choose with Gozen match. That's fine. We're going to get the trigger from the Bookstone. adding that Shinobirds calling back from the grave. Now we're in business. Activate our Talismandra. Talismandra will special summon as well as another Bookstone. And now we have enough monsters to blank some attacks until we can get back out of our Dark Lock and summon one of our Shinobarons. Our opponent's going to Eldlich of White Destiny, special summoning their second big golden boy. Little do they know they're playing right into our plans. We want them to destroy all of our monsters so that we can now tribute off cards from our hand and Shinobirds calling and send back a bunch of those cards to their hand. We want maximum value. Playing with fire a little bit. 500 life points against Eldlich, but we're about to shuffle back not only their 2 floodgates, but we're going to return all 3 of their big monsters to their hand. We don't care about the Conquistador, that's fine. And we can fire off the Pot of Avarice now that we've got enough monsters in the graveyard, exactly enough. D.D. Crow, what? Banishing the Talismandra, and because we can't shuffle back 5 cards, we don't get to resolve Pot of Avarice. Absolutely disgusting. However, we've got the Shinobirds calling. We can summon the Shinobaron Peacock. Shinobaroness Peacock, that is. And additionally, because the Conquistador and the Hakero both count as traps still, we can shuffle those back as well. So we're actually going to be able to remove all of our opponent's monsters off of our Shinobaroness Peacock, special summon the Amano Awado, activate the in-graveyard effect of our Incantation Inception to special summon an Incantation monster from our deck. And wait a minute. We had it against Eldlich. I got too greedy and I shotgunned the Amano Awado. No one can activate their effects. That includes me. I was not able to grab a ritual spell off of Kandal, which means I was not able to ritual summon the Baron to shuffle back all 3 of our opponent's monsters and attack for game. Okay. We have the moral high ground. We should have won that as well. It's fine. Let's get to the next game. Duelists. Game 2, after a devastating misplay against the Virgin Eldlich, we're back. We're back. We're not going to let us get us down. We are on the draw this time, so we do have the chance to OTK. Hand looking a little sussy baka. Triple pot is not the worst, but we do have that Aratama, which will search us a ritual monster, a spirit monster that is, and we do have the Impcantation Chalice Slime, which can search us pretty much anything that we need. Opponent, what do you have? XO Stepsisters. Normal summon into special summon into Xyz. They've got the Mika. What the heck do you pronounce that? Anyway, all right, whatever. Detaching immediately, adding the trap. The trap is bonkers good. It can special summon 2 Exosisters from the deck. What? Got another Chalice Slime. That's not bad. Let's lead with the Extravagance. I just want to draw 2 cards. We're going to banish a full 6. Boom! Manju, that's pretty good. We can activate our Chalice Slime, pitching our redundant Chalice Slime, getting our Kandal, which will get us a ritual spell from the deck. Of course, we need that Shinobirds calling. Now we can normal summon our Manju, which will allow us to grab the Peacock. I'm not super concerned about the singular Exosister monster. I want to get that backer out of here. So let's go Shinobirds calling, tributing off our monsters that we just utilized to go into the Peacock. We're going to trigger Peacock, attempt to shuffle back both of those spell traps. They're going to fire the Impermanence. That's fine. It's like getting rid of one spell trap. Of course, they still have one back there, but we've got a big beater, and I'm actually just going to elect to trade with this Mikalis. I don't want to give them a chance to activate again, and we can easily ritual summon more of our Shinobarons. They are going to fire off the trap, though, and immediately get 2 Exosisters straight from the deck. Second verse, same as the first. Let's trigger both those effects, and then they're going to Xyz summon into another Michaelis. Let me know if you've seen this before. Michaelis trigger. They're going to banish our Shinobirds calling. Okay, all right. So they've seen the linchpin of our deck. They're going to add the Pax. The Pax also a very powerful card. Firing off the Pax. They're going to get something. There's Stella. Stella! Stella, special summon Ellis. They have everything. Jeez. Boom. Another Xyz summon. They got Gabrine. What does Gabrine do? Let's read this card. Cannot be destroyed by the activated effects of monsters special summoned from the graveyard. We're not special summoning from the graveyard. And anyway, we're not destroying anything. We are returning to hand. We are shuffling back in. If you control this card that was XC summoned this turn using an Exosister monster as material, the whole purpose of the deck, quick effect, you can target an effective monster your opponent controls and negate its effect until end of turn. That is dangerous, but it is only if it was summoned this turn. So once we go back to our turn, they will not be able to activate that. However, they can detach a material and boost up all their Xyz monsters, gaining 800 attack. And they're going to do just that. They want to get in for a bunch of damage. That is a bunch of damage. 5,500 from the Exo Stepsisters. I don't know if I feel comfortable with that sort of physical contact. They set another 2, one of which we know is definitely the trap. We draw a Pot of E for turn. Let's go for the Aratama, see if we can bait out anything from their back row. Get the Peacock. Activate our Chalice Slime, pitching the Pot of E. We don't need to banish anymore. Let's get the Candle. Candle is going to allow us to add the Calling to our hand from the deck. Ritual Summon. Bringing forth the Shinobirds Peacock. Here's the Shinobirds Peacock. Let's get those 2 monsters back to the hand. Boom. Back to the extra deck. Now that we have enough monsters in our graveyard, we can Pot of Avarice, recycling those all-important incantations. They're going to fire off the Vadis, though. Here's the Vadis. The Vadis and the packs. They're adding Stella off the packs. They're allowed to immediately special summon Stella, and then they can special summon 2 more. They're getting Irene and Sophia from the deck. We're going to shuffle back those cards and then draw, trigger on a new chain all of their Exosisters. And they're allowed to, of course, immediately Xyz summon the Gabrine. Now, the Gabrine is live. It can negate the effect of any other monsters that we happen to summon. We've already shuffled back with the Shinobirds, but anything else that we want to try to summon. And they now have 3 Exosisters, 2 monster negates on this turn. We're going to pre-prep of rights, adding another incantation, getting back that Shinobirds Calling. I'm going to go Shinobirds Calling again, tributing off a few monsters in my hand to special summon the Shinobirds Peacock, which they are going to negate. That's fine, though. I knew they were going to do this, but we do have 2 3K beaters that we can now immediately run into both of those Jabrines. I'm not so concerned with Esophiel. Let's read Esophiel real quick, see what we're dealing with. If this card is Xyz summoned using an Exosister monster as material, neither player can activate card effects in the graveyard this turn. That's fine. We're not doing anything with the grave, really. The only thing that happens in our grave is going to be that incantation Inception. But you can also detach material from this card, then target a monster your opponent controls, return it to the hand. That's fine. We don't really mind. These are going to actually return to the hand anyway because of their effect. End phase, spirit monsters trigger their effects. Return the Shinobirds to the hand, 2 Shinobird tokens. Shinobird tries to trigger, but its effects has been negated. It will remain on the field. Our opponent draws, Asophiel, returning the Shinobirds to the hand, and now they go into Magistus. They had Magistus in their pocket the whole time. What is going on? They summon Zorora, equip a Magistus monster from the extra deck. What are they doing with Artemis? Artemis, the Magistus Moon Maiden, the triple M. Try saying that 5 times fast. Each turn, they get to add a Magistus monster from the deck to the hand. Okay, so they are triggering Zorora, Chainlink 1, allowing them to special summon a spellcaster monster from their hand or graveyard. So they're going to get back an Exo Stepsister and also be able to add one off of their Artemis. Now they have Sophia. Sophia's going to trigger, except its effects have been negated. They will get to add another Zorora off of their Artemis. Another Esophiel. Esophiel will trigger being able to detach, and then they can go into Utopic Future. They were not numbered Xyz monsters. They can go into Utopic Future and into Utopic Draco Future. Okay. Whew. They're going to eat through one of our tokens real quick, and then they're going to go to the end phase. Okay, so Utopic Future Draco is a problematic card. That is for sure a real pain in the ass if I'm going to be honest. But we can get through this. They are going to definitely negate one of Shinobirds and steal it. But then we are going to be able to special summon the other Shinobird and then send back our own plus their Utopic Draco Future and attack in for a bunch of damage. All right, let's see what we got. Pot of E off the top, not bad. Let's fire the Incantation Chalice Slime. Bookstone will get us our Shinobirds Calling back, and we can now Ritual Summon one of our Peacocks. Cute little interaction there. We don't want to go for that Amano Iwado. I'm already triggered by our misplay against Eldlich. We're going to banish that, and then that is going to allow us to maintain more cards on the field and in hand for a second Ritual Summon when we need to later in the turn. Shinobirds. Trigger. And steal. As suspected. Wow, what a card. Can you believe that they printed that? Yeah, because it's Yu-Gi-Oh! They print busted stuff all the time. All right, so unfortunately, our Shinobird has been triggered. We're going to Pot of P, see if we can find anything extra off the top to extend us. I see a pre-preparation of rights. I see a Manju, very nice. Another pre-preparation of rights, a preparation of rights, and a Candle. All right, we're going to grab a preparation of rights, and what happened? What happened? We grabbed our preparation of rights and we could not activate it. We ran out of legal targets in the deck. We didn't have any more Impcantation Chalice Slimes. Fuck. We could have grabbed a pre-preparation of rights, which would have allowed us to add a full 2 cards and be able to special summon, but we had run out of Chalice Slimes. Our cup did not runneth over. Our cup was not half full. Our cup was empty. In the words of Jack Sparrow, why is the Chalice Slime always gone? Duelists. It's with great sorrow and a heavy heart that I regret to inform you that the footage of our third and final game was corrupted. However, it's with great elation and great joy I inform to you that in that game, we kicked Sky Striker's ass. We sent those peasants back into town and showed them exactly what's up with the aristocracy, the barons, and the baronesses. Anyway, despite those few misplays, the deck is very resilient and very consistent. Between being able to special summon from the deck and loop all of our different incantations, we have all of our draw spells, prep of rights, and pre-prep of rights. This deck basically always does what it needs to do, and being able to bounce 3/shuffle 3 is ridiculous for a boss monster. So do not underestimate the Baron and the Baroness. We don't need hand traps. We're going to set up. We're going to do the thing. I really enjoyed building this deck. I really enjoyed playing this deck, and I think you guys should try it out for yourself. Jules out.